We thank you for tuning into WSML radio podcasts that can be heard exclusively on Spreaker.com. Stay tuned to the Poetry Corner, hosted by Linda Scanlan, right after these brief messages.
Having your own radio station is easier than ever. Start your own online radio today. Find out how at www.wavestreaming.com.
Hi, Tom Bodette. Of all the things invented in 1962, some have faded away, like cassette tapes, and others are still very much with us, like lava lamps and Motel 6. Yep, Motel 6 is celebrating 50 years of giving travelers a good night's rest and saving you more for what you travel for. But we're just getting started. In fact, the longer you watch us, the better we get. Kind of like a lava lamp. Trippy. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6. 50 years and the light's still on.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Linda Scanlan coming to you from sunny Florida. I'm here today to introduce a podcast that will feature poetry from around the world. I'll be reading pieces, some of which will be my own, others from a vast array of poetry found on Facebook, in the poetry groups where I'm a member. My aim is to delight and impact and hopefully transform hearts, because we all know we just only have to look around to see such sadness and sorrow and loneliness and despair in our world. And I don't think we need a lecture about it. I don't think we need a seminar. I don't think we need to be told that this is what we have to do to correct it. We're adults, and I think ultimately our choices are our own. But I look at poetry like I do music. There's something so special about it. It's so universally accepted and studied and admired and even coveted. I have a lot of friends who write poetry, and they always say to me, I worry that one day I'll wake up and I will be uninspired and have a lot of difficulty creating a piece. And my answer to them is, don't worry about it. Ultimately, it's not even you who's doing the writing. All you have to do is be open, sit quietly, be still, walk in nature, be mindful, appreciate what you have, show gratitude. And these attributes that are on display will be rewarded, because the universe knows what we need. And words will appear. They'll be in your heart. They'll be in your mind. You won't be able to not write. So don't be discouraged if you wake up tomorrow and you're feeling dry and arid and not inspired at all. It will come. You just have to believe. People ask me often, Linda, what's your process? As though I'm a writer who is serious about honing a craft. I don't have that in mind when I write. I literally just sit and I close my eyes and I wait to discover what the muses are going to deliver to me on sterling silver platters. They honor me with their presence as I honor them with mine. It's a collaborative endeavor for which I personally take very little credit other than as a stenographer and a really quick typist. So I'm hopeful that you'll take time out of your busy day It's just a couple of minutes where you can sit and relax and hear the beautiful lines of poetry from pens of writers from around the world. We'll be featuring poets from Europe and India and Pakistan, Australia, New Zealand, Nepal, Canada, South America, and of course the United States. And this is new. We're introducing it today for the first time, so we'll just have to see how it develops. If there's an interest and there's an audience, then we'll continue. And if it shows that there really isn't, well, then we'll have to think of something else that gets you interested. Because I think that there's a lot of jibber jabber out there and we need an alternative. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy the poetry. If you have a particular artist or poet that you'd like featured, we can talk about how you can send me those submissions. In the meantime, I'm going to read a piece that I wrote because I have some friends who are dear to my heart who are struggling with emotions right at the moment. And it's mostly about love, of course, and it's something that we all want and need and pray for and desire. And when it's not going our way, we are tied up in knots and breathing becomes difficult and our life takes on a darker, shadowy meaning. And that's okay too, because I believe that nothing happens by accident. There are no random acts in the universe. There are no coincidences. Everything is intentional. It has meaning. And if you need to be without your beloved for the moment, there's a reason for that too. And we have to discover what it is. And we're also allowed to be a little bit on the pity pot, but not too long, because there's other work that needs to be done during this time of emptiness and loneliness. So that's what this poem is about. Acknowledging that, and then perhaps being reminded of how special and unique and wonderful you are. And anyone that has buckets full, brimming with love, that can't find a place for it to land, simply isn't looking. And I would encourage you to look further. Poetry is the vehicle for me. It's an outlet. It's a way to communicate, a way to get me out of my own head. And I think that by offering opportunities for poets to, in the future, submit pieces to me for recitation, we'll also be explaining a little bit how they got there, what informed them, their inspiration, and we'll be able to share these things collectively. And hopefully all of this good, positive energy will raise the vibration of the universe, and we'll really start to get some things done, because in my opinion there are things that need to be attended to. And by using poetry and other creative arts, we can get there with smiles on our faces. So I hope that you enjoy this reading and relax, and look forward to sharing future moments with me in terms of this podcast. So here we go. Why, my dear, you appear so sad. Why is that? Tell me. We have time enough to spare. Have you forgotten you are the salt of the earth? Savory, piquant, nuanced layers of seasoned flavors, a tasty morsel in a world of bland. You are the light of lights, fire's warmth, rising flames, rebuffing endless cold and the enduring dark of winter's lonely season. You seek not for fame nor fortune. These are transient moments in a life, here today, yet, like sands through the hourglass, gone in an instant. Never an accurate measure of a life well lived anyway. What you long for, money cannot procure. Peace in your heart, and serenity in your soul. Joy, fleeting though it is. Contentment, no matter the chatter and buzz all around you. Gratitude for abundance. Solitude when pulled to the breaking by those errant crowds. And of course the company of a good friend, priceless, with whom you share your secret desire. Love above all, for all, though they be great or small. Go into nature, your bastion. Go there to your haven. Take time to honor those creatures who inhabit high bare branches or burrow deep in rich, loamy soil. Brimming with the promise, if winter be approaching, spring is but a moment behind. I hope you enjoyed that and find comfort, especially in the lines, go into nature, your bastion, go there to your haven. The great American poet Mary Oliver writes about the solace that she finds in nature, that she's not herself outside of the woods and the forests. She writes about the wild geese. She's mindful, not unlike my friend, whose photographs are often coupled with my poetry pieces. There's always a reason to be glad. And I have found personally, without sounding too much like I'm pontificating, because that clearly is not my purpose, I'm here only to share. But for me, I find that with poetry, I can reach out and perhaps touch one other person. Isn't that the goal of poetry after all? We don't write for celebrity or fame or money or even to be published. If these things happen, so be it. Wonderful. But if not, does that negate the purpose of your writing? No, I would suggest quite the opposite. We write because we're compelled to. We write because we have no other choice. We write because we need to share our hearts and the words that have been inside of us for many, many, many years perhaps. And we do it unabashedly, fearlessly, in spite of knowing our vulnerabilities will be out there for everyone to deconstruct. But we don't care, because it's for poetry that we put ourselves out there. So this is going to be your time. We're going to share, we're going to talk a little bit, and we're going to get some feedback. And hopefully this will be a platform where we can launch poetry that makes a difference.